Welcome back to Storytime with Pookie. Sit back, relax and grab a snack as we dive into our story today. I had always loved living in my quaint, suburban neighborhood. The streets were lined with trees that burst into a riot of colors every fall, and the air was always filled with the comforting hum of everyday life. That is, until the strange occurrences began. It started subtly. One night, while watching TV, I noticed my favorite mug was missing from its usual spot on the coffee table. I chalked it up to my absent-mindedness. Maybe I left it in the kitchen. But it wasn't there either. I found it the next day, neatly placed on my bedside table, a place I would never leave it. A few days later, I started hearing soft tapping noises at odd hours of the night. At first, I dismissed them as the house settling, or the wind playing tricks. But the sounds became more persistent, rhythmic, like someone was deliberately tapping on the walls. Sleep became elusive, and I found myself waking up at exactly 3:15 a.m. every night, drenched in cold sweat. One evening, I came home from work to find my front door slightly ajar. My heart raced. I stepped inside, expecting to find signs of a break-in. But nothing was out of place. Nothing missing. Everything was eerily perfect. It was like the door had unlocked itself. The very next day, I installed new locks and security cameras. And for a while, things felt normal again. But one night, I checked the footage out of curiosity. At 3:15 a.m., the camera in my living room captured a shadow moving across the room. The figure was barely discernible, but it moved with purpose, straight to the camera. Then the footage cut to static. Paranoia set in. I felt watched, exposed. Small things began to change around the house. Books slightly out of place, clothes rearranged. It was as if someone was living in my space, manipulating it, just enough to make me question my sanity. Determined to catch whoever it was, I set up simple traps. Threads across doorways, flowers sprinkled on the floor. The next morning, the thread was broken. And there were faint footprints in the flour, leading from my bedroom to the front door. The realization hit me like a freight train. Someone had been in my room, while I slept. That night I stayed awake, baseball bat in hand, eyes glued to the monitors. At 3:15 a.m., the figure appeared again. It moved through my house like it knew it, like it had lived there for years. I bolted from the room, ready to confront it. But when I flung open the door, nothing. The hallway was empty. I ran back to check the footage. This time there was no shadow, no movement, just static. Defeated and terrified, I finally called the police. They took my statement, but with no solid evidence, there was little they could do. I felt more alone than ever. Weeks passed, but the disturbances didn't stop. The tapping, the shifting objects, the feeling of being constantly watched. My friends and family began to question my sanity. Eventually, I started to question it too. Then one night as I lay in bed, too exhausted to stay awake, I heard a whisper. A low, insidious voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. "You can't stop me," it said. "I know everything about you." I shot upright, heart racing. The whisper continued, describing intimate details about my life, things no one else could know. I felt a cold hand brush my cheek, and I screamed. The next morning, I packed a bag and left. I abandoned my beloved home, moved to a different city, changed my name, and tried to start over. But even now, in the dead of night, I still wake up at 3:15 a.m. heart pounding, certain I hear a whisper in the dark. The craziest part? The police later found evidence that someone had been in my house, but they never caught the person. And honestly, the thought that a human being could orchestrate something this terrifying, so calculated, so invasive, is far more disturbing than any ghost or demon I could have ever imagined. That's all for today's video. If you liked the video, click like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.